Hi, guys. So today I wanted to do a quick roundup on stress, the topic of topics. And if it was ever relevant, it's relevant right now. So if you want to find out what over the course of my feedback calls I have noticed, stay tuned. I will tell you all about it coming right up. If I can only find my intro. There you go. Found it! Yay! Okay, guys. So, stress is a very stretchable topic, a very stretchable term. And what you may think stress is might not be what I think stress is. So, because it's emerged as a theme for me that is a problem, I wanted to share with you my findings. So, misconception number one that was rife was that stress equals busyness. And how this came up in the conversation was that people, most notably my sister-in-law, said, when I said, oh, how are you dealing with your stress? Because she's also a first responder, she's a nurse. And she said, well, I don't have as much stress during lockdown as I usually would have because my kids don't go to their extracurricular activities. I don't have to ferry them to and from their sports classes and music and whatnot. So no, I am actually not as stressed. And while that may very well be true for my sister-in-law because she has superhuman abilities to cope with stress that nobody else seems to have, but this emerged in several conversations that people recounted times when they were very, very stressed, but what they really meant was they just had a lot of stuff on. And being busy and having a lot to do may cause your body to go into a stress response, but it may not. Because sometimes, doing stuff like an example of what was keeping somebody busy was planning their wedding. That can be also very enjoyable busyness. So that wasn't really causing her distress. So, but what stress really means, at least when I use the term stress, is your inability to downregulate your physical response to outside stimuli and to your everyday life. So if having a lot of stuff on your to-do list feels overwhelming, feels like you have to climb Mount Everest every day, that's a physical response. And by physical, I also include emotional brain responses because that's where it all starts. So when you start feeling, oh my God, this is getting too much. I just want to climb under the covers and hide in my bed for the rest of the day. Or I just want to throw everything down and walk out the door and just say I'm getting a pack of cigarettes and never return. That's when your stress levels have reached a level where it is no longer, not for a moment, tolerable. But the sneaky thing is that most of us operate in this kind of middle area for prolonged periods of time. And we're just about ticking over. We always just about managed to, by sleeping our cortisol levels off, getting back to a moderately tolerable baseline. Speaking of baselines, so misconception number 2 emerged in a conversation where the person I was talking to actually had managed to change her external influences considerably by moving to a different country, which was lovely and sunny, and in her words, where she was leading a much more relaxed, less stress intense life. And then she said, however, sometimes when I do find myself in a stressful situation, it throws me almost more than the same situation would have thrown me a decade ago when I was still living in England and wasn't, had like a permanent stress level. So there's two reasons for this. Number one is the before mentioned baseline, because she wasn't or she isn't used to the same stress hormone levels in her bloodstream anymore. So her baseline is further down. So when she does get a spike in those hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, she will notice it much more so than when she had a higher baseline. But more importantly, is that she still doesn't have actionable strategies to combat her stress levels. So the same, if she finds herself in a similar situation again, which she thinks she's overcome, she'll still have the same reaction as she did 10 years ago. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about at its core. And that is that the if-then thinking, I just have to change my entire surroundings, my entire environment to just get rid of the stress. I have to get rid of the stressful husband, I have to get rid of the stressful kids, and then I'll feel fine, does not work, because there's other things that are going to stress you. And without having actionable strategies to get over it, game over, guys. So if you are currently suffering from high stress levels, tell me in the comments what is causing it, if you've been able to pinpoint it. If you haven't, tell me, how is the stress feeling? What are the emotional feelings, the sensations, and your bodily sensations? Can you feel any knots? Can you feel, oh my God, I must be very stressed because my neck is cramping up, or I have trouble with my digestion again? Let me know in the comments. All right. This is it from me. My name is Henrike Schmidt. I am the whole brain coach, and I help my clients understand their brains better, because that is the key to unlocking success and happiness in their lives. All right, my lovelies, I will be back here next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central European Time, as always. Until then, see you in the comments. Cheerio.